Continue tonight's class focusing on tips to keep going, changing impossible to possible, never happened to miracle through our own efforts, positivity, research, network, and a lot of people's input on how they do that. If you can, subscribe, share, and drop a like. Thank you. So we have to really believe that, and at the same time, I'd like to share some strategies that you can use. Keep working in that direction. Again, if it's clear, like all the examples I gave were very clear, this for sure is the better story, for sure is the story God would want for you. So keep working for it, keep believing in it. Don't give up on it just because everything seems to be saying it's not going to happen. Like, why should you believe any of that? So I think the first step, the first tool that's important in this direction is to know and believe and feel it's going to happen. Like a big blockage to success is knowing you won't succeed. We have to brainwash ourselves. We have to rewire our thinking. We have to keep pumping ourselves with this positive message. This child's going to be terrific. I'm going to find my mates now. I'm going to get that job. I'm going to solve this issue. The more we think it and say it and act it, the more we're changing our inner wiring, the more we believe it. And that's critical for it to happen. So if everyone could take one area of their life, if you have an impossible challenge you're dealing with, that's the one I want you to think about. If you have more than one, well, just take one of them. If you don't have an impossible challenge, that's good. Thank God. You could just pick a regular one, like the doable but not yet happened one. And to form a positive message to yourself regarding that issue. Like, it's going to happen. I know it doesn't make sense, but God's bigger than that. Envision it, taste it, feel it. It's going to be. What I'm trusting in is going to happen. It's really going to happen. I might not have the details of how, but that's okay. It's going to happen. Now, when you have a message, it's going to happen. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see this great good emerge. You need to keep telling it to yourself all day long. It's going to help to have the optimism, to be positive. That's the hallmark of a successful person, is someone who's optimistic and positive and knows it's going to work out. What do you think are going to be your challenges in keeping this assignment? What might be difficult for you? Any difficulties you see in this? Taking something.
It doesn't happen tomorrow.
It doesn't happen tomorrow. Okay, so if it doesn't happen tomorrow, then you're going to space out on it, or you're going to feel disappointed.
Disappointed.
Okay, so that's good to think about. So here I am. I have this great message I'm telling myself about something important in my life, and I'm saying it really strongly, and I'm pumping myself with it. And all right, I'll give God a week. Tomorrow I'll give God. I pushed for a whole week, and it still didn't happen. Wait, God, you had a week. It shouldn't take a week to do this. I mean, not for God. And then I think what you have to tell yourself is, I guess God wants me to keep it up longer. So God, all right. I know this week was very valuable, and I can't wait to see it emerge next. And keep it up, and keep it up, and keep it up, and keep feeding yourself that message. I know God can do it. There's no reason he shouldn't want to do it. I serve him. We're on his page. This is something he should want. This isn't an extra. This is what someone needs to serve God in a happy, joyful way. And I just keep reaffirming my trust, and just week after week, keep doing it. It really helps if we have other positive people in our world. Sometimes we have to be surrounded by people that are not so positive. And then it's very hard if we're trying to be all upbeat and positive when the people in our world are not, because that can sort of pull us down. So if one has a choice, Try to surround yourself with people with positive energy. Something else you could do is try to link this positive thought to an action. Like, as you give charity daily, that's when you're going to remind yourself of this positive message, because you're doing a godly act. So it's a nice time to reaffirm this great positive message that God can do all, and you're so excited because he's taking care of this. You're so excited because you know it's going to happen. You're so excited because it's such an amazing thing and it's finally coming through. So we have to sometimes find like anchors in our day when to like remind ourselves about all this great good and positivity. And as Natalie's saying, and when if a week later it didn't happen, don't give up. Okay, God, you want another week? No problem. Here I come. Okay, God, you want another week? No problem. Here I come. Just don't give up. Don't believe, well, it didn't happen, so it won't. As long as there's a chance for it to happen, and as long as you know it's the better, more godly version of the story, keep believing. That's what the sages said. Even if a sword is on your neck, God's compassions could still happen. Whoa, well, the sword's right on my neck. Well, how's God going to have time to deal with it? God's very capable. So as long as there's still a chance, as long as there's still maybe possibly, just keep pumping that positivity, that trust, that joy. Something else on a practical note, if you're, again, depending on the situation, if you're dealing with something that seems impossible, but you definitely know it seems more what God would want for you than what you're dealing with, what's happening, is research. A lot of times we think we know it all, but maybe there's something out there we don't know. We should keep ourselves open. We shouldn't shut down and say there's no options. I don't know how people usually research issues here. You have Google, you have Facebook, you have Facebook's group, you have WhatsApp groups. You know, there's so many things at our fingertips to just try to find information. And it's really amazing. I have a woman I'm close to, and she was telling me how she was so lethargic, gaining weight, just feeling really down. She just thought it was life. And then something made her start researching, and she realized that no, actually, her body wasn't absorbing her thyroid medicine. So, you know, and that was the reason for all of these issues. So we should always have that open mind of like, maybe there's other ways to get information. Maybe there's more information on the issue. If the issue is with my marriage, if the issue is with my children, if the issue is with health, maybe there's things out there I don't know that I could try. Anyone has something they like to go to when they're looking for information on an issue?
I do.
What do you do, Erica?
Were you asking, just to clarify, you're asking if anybody has, what are you looking for information or has information?
No, not looking and not have, but like where do you go? What search engines do you use? What do you do if you're looking for information?
Oh, okay. DuckDuckGo, it's called.
What?
I use that. It's duckduckgo.com.
Oh, right. Where they say that they don't get your personal information.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always have.
I guess Google would work too. I just have been in a habit of doing the DuckDuckGo for a little while.
And you see that it's good for you and that you are finding out what you need to know.
Yes, I love it. It brought me all the way to this point, and I'm just loving all the encouragement that you're giving with this teaching. So it's just amazing. So thank you.
So nice. Okay. Anyone else have something they use that they find helpful, that they found that when they researched, they found things that they didn't know before that have helped them in their life?
I was going to say, I cannot believe like the wealth of information that the Chabad websites have for like, because there's so much about Judaism that we don't know. Me personally, like we as a family, we don't know. There's lots and lots of things. And you hear like little snippets of things in a shirim sometimes. It's like, oh, what is that? What are they talking about? And you go and you just type in like whatever it is and Chabad, and there's almost always a page. And it's a good summary, and then it's got links to like a dozen other pages with other details. So, I could just spend hours on the Chabad website. And honestly, that helps too, like, because I know there's been plenty of times when somebody's like, oh, you know, can you pray for this or pray for that? And sometimes the need is like immediate. And I have typed in like Chabad, prayer, Psalms, sick, because I can't always remember which Psalms are for which. And it's got a list, and you click on it and you can say the Psalms right there, and it's wonderful.
That is wonderful. It is amazing, because obviously internet can go in both directions, but it's so wonderful when it's a tool that's really helping people. And what Natalie's saying is true. If you ever have a question, just your rabbi's at your fingertips, or at least a generic, maybe not your situation specific, but just in general. What does this mean? How does one celebrate? Why does one celebrate? What's this custom? What's this ritual? What's this command? And imagine, there it is, all written in nice, clear English. So that is a great resource, and I'm glad you mentioned it. And it's definitely something, that people should take advantage of. Doesn't mean we don't want people and contacts with people, but it's nice at any time of night. You just go online, and there it is, there for you. So a lot of times there are methods, there are ways of accessing information that we haven't thought of, that we haven't tried. And a lot of times the point is, we don't even think there is any information out there. We don't even think there's anything we need to know. And then when we start researching, we find there really is. And it makes a difference sometimes, from the I know it all and there's no solution, to actually there's a lot of solutions out there and I don't know it all. I think something very important within this idea that's so important, especially I'd say for Noahide, but for all of us, is networking. One of the best ways to research, so to speak, is to speak with other people in your situation. Maybe they've tried things you haven't. You can share, they can share. You can say what you've done, they can say what they've done. So it gives you a whole wealth of like real-time information, like real people that are really, not when you read an article and you don't know if any of this is true or any of this actually works, but a person that says, this is what I did for my kid, this helped. And I did this and it didn't help. I did this and it sort of helped. So that's amazing. Something else that I think is really great about networking, and I think especially for Noahide, it's really, really important to network, is support. Because even if you have other people in your world that could give you support, but they're not going to get it the same way. When someone's like with you in your situation, they get it on the inside. And sometimes there's so few words that need to pass between two such people because you understand each other. So networking is a great source of information. Networking is a great source of support. And networking also, as I just mentioned, prayer, is a great opportunity to pray. There's so many stories of people praying for each other and both seeing a salvation occurring. So if you're in a certain situation, if you're having a really hard time with your kids, and you're talking to someone else who's also having a hard time with your kids, and the two of you say, let's swap, let's pray for each other. And that's so precious to God. And that's such a catalyst for things, for voices to be heard. Obviously, you can also pray for people not in your situation, and you could have a situation with your kids, and they could have a situation with their finances. You could have your situation with your health. They could have a situation with their marriage. Obviously, you can pray for people in a different situation. It's still very precious to God that you're praying for someone else, and therefore very meaningful, and therefore very strong that those prayers should get answered. But especially if you're both praying for the same thing for each other, you both have this need. It's very powerful. So networking is a great way to research. Networking is a great way to feel supported. And networking is a great option for prayer. To really pray for other people in their need. And as you pray for them in their need, and they pray for you in your need, both those prayers, or multiple prayers, are very, 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 very powerful to God. I know for myself, with my special needs child, I'm always open to hearing other people and what they've done and what's worked and what hasn't worked. Information, and just today, I mean, I don't even think this is for next summer, maybe for 2 summers, but I think ahead. I put on a group of mothers who can, share with me what camps are good for boys, with special needs. And, right away I got this response and this response and this response. It's so much better than me just like Googling, camp special need Jewish website, like this is like, and I could speak to the mothers and I could find out, was it good, was it not good, why was it good, why wasn't it good? And I freely share information of anything I know, and I'm always open to whatever information I don't know, because I always trust that there's someone out there that's already tried it, already done it, already sees if it works or when it works or how it works. So it's always useful for me to talk to someone else in a situation. And there's, again, so many things I've seen in my life that I have really been helped because of networking with other people in my situation. Anyone else here has had that experience, that they've networked with other people in their situation? It's really helped them?
I have a few suggestions to make. Actually, when I was really trying to figure out this Noahide thing and the Jewish thing and everything, I tend to be a little obsessive compulsive, and I just spread the net really broad, and I can grab every resource I can. So there's a ton of Noahide. I mean, Chabad is the best for what she said, and there's also Aish and Safaria. But for Noahides, Nativ is a great resource. There's a ton of groups on Facebook. There's also Ask Noah. If you look that up, Ask Noah, you can ask them any question. There's a rabbi that's ready to answer any question. They get back with you pretty quickly. And that one is really good for Noahides. Nativ, there's a woman in the Noahide group, Noahide Online Gathering, and her name is Shara. And she has websites for people looking for a mate. She has a website for parents of children, raising, I think it's called Raising Noah or something like that. She's a really good resource for Noahides.